so you can hear.
Still low, and I've turned it up.
I don't know why. It should be good.
Maybe it's me. How about everybody else? Anybody having problems hearing him? I think I got a thumbs up, which means it's okay. So never mind. It might be just me.
Like always, it's always you. Yeah. All right. Well, is anybody new here?
Terry, Terry, who emailed you, and I emailed her back. She made it.
Oh, good, good. Nice to meet you, Terry. Anyone else?
Mary Frances, alcoholic, new.
Oh, Aunt Frances. Yeah. Nice to see you, Frances. This isn't going to be the recovery-based meeting, so it's a non-duality meeting, but there'll be some recovery thrown in for you. All right? Yeah, yeah. So
it's okay to stay?
Oh yeah, definitely stay. It's like Paul, non-person. How we do it here. Oh, you're welcome. How did you hear about us, Mary?
I just received a flyer like just seconds before I got on.
Oh really? Who the hell's sending flyers out? I don't know. I don't have anything to do. I have no idea what's going on in Zen Bitchla. Wow. We're putting flyers out. That's interesting. Someone did. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, welcome, Mary, and welcome, Terry. Terry, are you you know what this meeting's about? The non-duality?
Yeah, I do.
So,
yeah, thank you.
All right. So again, if you've heard us without being here, we're just going to share from where we're at, yeah, seemingly, which is the assumption of non-duality is that being ourselves reality, or being what you're looking for, or what's looking right now is what you're looking for in all the times you're looking for shit. That assumption is the basic, what comes after is based on that, yes? So when they say your spiritual practices themselves may be reinforcing the non-existent thing, how can they destroy it? It's based on that prior statement, which is the mental state is implying that the thing is also the non-thing, yes? So in other words, the body, the way the mental state narrates the event, the body is what's seeing, it's what's hearing, it's what's tasting, it's what's touching. So when I say I'm conscious, the I that is being implied is in consciousness. It's body, yes? Yeah, so the whole idea is being ourselves reality. It would be pretty insane for reality to attempt to attain reality, yes? But in a way, that's exactly what we may be doing. There's no one doing it, but there may be a doing of that, yes? So how is that doing of that reinforced? There must be reality, quote unquote, must be identified in time as something else, yeah? To be driven to seek reality, it must be in a denial, knowingly or not knowingly, of its reality, yeah? So in that condition, it takes itself to be something other than reality, and now that new something else is given the sense of being what you are, and then we live life from what that is, and that is we're not that, yeah? So basically, we're looking, we're using what we're looking for to look for it, yes? That's the dilemma. And so that's how it came to me. It was pointless for the lion to keep hearing it's a lion. It wasn't working. It needed to hear that it's not a sheep, because it was in the act of being identified as a sheep, all the while being a lion. There's nothing else it can be, but it was in the act of being identified as a sheep. So without mentioning that, and just constantly describing the indescribable, to the indescribable as the describable doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. So he says they're simple. Your spiritual practices themselves, and that could be going to satsang, yeah? Your spiritual practices themselves, if this idea is in place, are basically reinforcing the non-existent thing. How can they destroy it? Yes? So you see a lot of people have gone to a lot of satsangs, let's say, maybe 800, 900, 1,000 satsangs, and basically what may be going on, it's going on, but it doesn't mean it's actually taking precedence of what is, but it is going on. And if it is taking precedence of what is, we're in a situation of wanting to get something, yes? We want to be there to experience our own absence. In a way, it gets to be a crazy idea of the selfing, and the idea that you're a self is trying to become a non-self as a self, yes? When the non-self isn't a positive or affirmative place, it's a negation of the idea of self. There is no non-self. It's a negation of the idea of self, yes? So the non-self negates the idea of self, and then you find out what you are, and it's not called non-self, yeah? Its nature isn't derived from the opposite of self. Yeah, there is no self. That's the whole point. So there's no non-self and there is no self. There's just selfing. And then there's non-selfing. Yeah. So I don't know what we are, and you don't know what you are, because you're busy being it, yeah? There's no time to know it. You'd have to truly be something else to know it. And that's not true, yeah? So if there's a desire to know it, then you're probably in the act of being identified as what you're not, yeah? Because only from what you're not would there be a desire to know what you already are. Yes, you see? So the premise is you are what you're looking for. The premise is being ourselves reality, then trying to use reality to attain reality would be the greatest mystery of all, as Ramana Maharshi puts it. Yeah, the greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. Yeah. Well, that's not a mystery to us now. We now know why that's going on, because there's an act of being identified as something other than reality. And that's where we want to drive and desire to attain reality. We don't need to arrive at reality. We are there. We need to question who thinks it's somewhere else, yes? Or just the thinking of someone else that implies there's a who. That's all. So basically, this is not another map to how to get to LA. This is questioning, are you in Omaha? Yeah? If you're not in Omaha, you may find out you're in LA. And there'll be no arrival. There'll be no time that it took to get to it. There's no need for maps because you're in LA already. Yes? It's only under the assumption that you're in Omaha that there would be a drive to buy maps to LA. Yes? Yes, obviously. Yeah. The seeking isn't the goal. We're believing the seeking is going to bring us to an arrival of where the gold is. Yeah? The fact that where the gold is not being understood. So we're trying to understand everything else, and we're trying to understand what cannot be understood, which is what we are. We're trying to go and hear more sublime descriptions of the indescribable. Yeah, that's insanity, really. A lot of people mention it right in the beginning. What we are is indescribable, incomprehensible, unknowable, and then we just try to describe it for an hour, yeah? Or your emptiness, your void, your consciousness, and all that hears that is what you're not. And then it reinforces what you're not with the idea that it's leading you to relief from the bondage of self, it actually reinforces the bondage of self. Yeah? This is the conundrum. Everything else is just dancing around it. If you don't feel that that's true, continue on, carry on. Because what's going to happen is the failedness of the equation that you're living from is going to finally leak out. It's going to be noticed. After you stop blaming yourself and thinking more will do it, or clearer, or pure awareness, or authentic self, when you finally exhaust all of those possibilities, you'll finally have the great revelation that failed system has been there to reveal to you, which is it's failed. It's failed. It's failed. Yeah? You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. I don't care how much you think you're Paul or Terry or Kenneth. It doesn't matter. You and I are the Buddha. That's the premise of non-duality. If you don't agree with that, then there's other stores that will go with how. There's other stores that will, you can get ready for the spiritual journey. You can buy fucking accessories and the shit you think you're going to need. Yeah? And you can buy all the maps and you can go ahead and set out on a course to realize something. But I'm telling you, my humble feeling is, as Ramana says, you can't realize what's always realized. What you realize is what you're not. That's what you realize. You don't realize what you are. You are the realizing of what you're not. That's what we are. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's like I'm a cod salesman, like COD. You can grill it, you can hang it, smoke it, you can do a lot of things, but it's cod, yeah? That's what we got to sell here, it's cod. Yeah. I found it was frustrating because there was something going on that I wasn't aware of, and that was the act of selfing. The selfing wasn't saying, watch out, Paul, you may become a self. It says I've been one, yeah? It says I'm already a self. And so obviously, the only logical drive I had from that misunderstanding was to try to get out of self. And I didn't realize I was caught in a larger net, which is self can't get out of self. Yeah? And I could not, being identified as that and taking myself to be the system I was relying on, the logic was that's the only way to go. So every time self can't get out of self demonstrated itself, I just changed vehicles. Spirituality, drugs, making money, becoming an environmentalist, tons of different things. But I never got the message of what the failed system can show me, that it's failed. It would just get in a different vehicle and just ram into the same wall, back up, get out, and just get in another vehicle. And I realized you're not going to recondition the conditionality of the programming. It has a certain glitch. It cannot get self, can't get out of self. It just can't get it because it keeps calling one of those aspects of self Terry and Paul and Mike. And to Paul, self is other, so therefore I should be able to escape it, not knowing that it's like one wing of a two-wing idea. Yeah, we use the old story like Ramana used. There's the selfing appearing as the police and the selfing appearing as the thief. Yeah. So you may recognize the thief, but then the policeman kicks in, and now it's beating the shit out of you because of not the way the other selfing would beat the shit out of you. Yeah. Then the idea of perfection sets in, and you should be so much better, and you put demands on you you would never demand on anyone else because you're special, and you've been called to a higher chosen calling. It's all obsession with self. Yeah. How could it not be? What you are takes no time to arrive at it. It's available right now with no requirement necessary from an imaginary idea, I'm telling you. Yeah? So it's funny, you know, interest has a role, but basically the real return is loss of interest or a moving of interest. Yeah? Because you don't realize how much interest is being used to be interested in self. It's incredible. Yeah. All the hopes to get out of self is reinforcing self. What is that but interest? Yeah. When you're studying for 2 years about self, it can be construed as an obsession with self. Yeah. You're so busily trying to get out of it, you've never even questioned, are you in it? Yeah. So you lose the need to be, you know, you lose interest in the need to be liberated. You lose interest in transcendence. You lose interest in escaping from an imaginary place. You lose interest in looking for what can't be lost and found. You know, you just lose interest in a lot of activities. And then that interest goes somewhere else, and it actually becomes quite valuable because it enriches yourself now, not you yourself, but what you are. It's an enrichment of it. It's the sense of presence, actually. To me, the sense of presence is undirected interest and attention. It's just resting in and of its own nature. I have enough to deal with a day. I don't, you know, there's no need to deal with 60 years right now. Yeah. So that's how we see it now today. The idea is the first video we ever made was the sheep and the lion, because the whole point was it's a very beautiful old parable they use in India, but I think we need to add on another chapter, because there's the young lion and the mother gets killed, and the young lion is now orphaned, and it's roaming around, doesn't know how to take care of itself, doesn't even know what it is, and it falls upon a herd of sheep, and it starts moving to the sheep. Now the sheep knows what it is, so they're a little worried and concerned, but then they realize this thing doesn't even know what it is. So it gets ingratiated with the sheep herd, and it tries to live as a sheep, not knowing any better. It's a little dissatisfied, irritable, and restless, but basically its level of possibilities drop significantly because it is, and it was, and it's going to be a sheep. So it just tries to do the best it can. It marries another female sheep. The kids look very strange, but they rationalize that away, and it becomes a big sheep elder, and you know, it's got a lot of status, and it's got a nice little place. It's never gets called on to be the next fucking sweater. It's fucking living pretty good as the sheep. Then one day an old lion comes into the area and wants to eat, sees the herd, starts chasing the sheep, looks out of the corner of its eye, sees this young lion running with it, and then he realizes it's running with the sheep. So it veers off, grabs the young lion rolls over, goes, "Please, Mr. Lion, I'm just a humble sheep." The older lion's a little perplexed, grabs it by the neck, drags it to the water hole, puts both their heads over the water. They see the reflection. The young lion gets it. I'm a lion. Maybe the old lion goes roar. Now the young lion doesn't have to, well, for me to roar, I'll have to take 3 months of roaring lessons, because that would come from the sheep idea. It's had a sudden realization it's a lion, and then it roars like that. Yeah? But what happens? That's the end of the parable. What happens when the lion walks away from the old lion and the reflection? The sheep programming kicks in, and now it suddenly thinks it had an incredible peak experience of being like a lion, but it goes back formatted as a sheep. That's what needed to be spoken about, because all of us that are here on one level has had that hit. We've seen the reflection of nothing, and something hit us, and it keeps bringing us back to Satsang. but we may not have been emphasized the warning of how the sheep programming kicks in. And before you know it, that free sample of revelation of what you are has turned into a peak experience that's been claimed by what you're not. Yeah? So then you got to keep going in a sense, not only to satsang to see a reflection, but you need to be reminded of this mental processing that's going to go on. We call it selfing because you'll slip back into that glove and seemingly forget that you're the hand. Yeah? And you'll go to satsang again, or maybe you'll go to a, self-inquiry retreat, and you'll get a sense of being empty of identification, but you'll leave probably, and the selfing will kick back in, and now you'll be put into the glove, and you'll be living as the glove again. Yeah? And each glove will have these rings of peak experiences and spiritual revelations and epiphanies, and you'll have a lot of spiritual bling on, yet there's an act of being identified as what you're not, as the basic premise. Yeah? So now the peak experiences are being used to reinforce the non-existent thing. What? Yes. Yeah. Now all the epiphanies being historical are being used to reinforce the non-existent thing. They didn't turn the switch. The switch went off and then went back on. Yeah. You have to realize what you are isn't based on off and on. No matter what you thought was going on, the context was you. It has never been disturbed by peak experiences. It has never been arrived at. It's never been realized because you're it. Yes? That's the good news. So all the relevance that you believe one action could exile you from what you think heaven is does not exile you from what you are. It can't. Yeah? It's like that sky can allow anything can happen in it, yet is not affected by anything that happens in it. Yes? That's more like what we are. We are the context, and what we're not is an appearance as the content. Yeah? Is going to grok the context. The context easily accepts the content because it sees it not as us, not as me, not as of. Yeah? Hallelujah. So it's not a big fight. You don't kill the content. There's an acceptance of it. There's an acceptance of Paul with all of its little foibles and blind spots. And it's not being whipped into a perfection that it does not have the ability to attain. Yeah? It's a Toyota. I don't care if you keep chanting you're a Rolls Royce. You drive like a Toyota, you turn like a Toyota, you smell like a Toyota. Yeah? And you're not the Toyota, thank God. But trying to deny you're a Toyota makes you the Toyota more and more. No, you're just a complete Toyota, and then there's a negation of that. Yeah, a negation. You see it from what you are, and you're not that. There's not a huge argument. You don't beat it up for all the years it stole from you. You don't try to put a stake in it like a vampire. You don't do shit. It's accepted, yes? Yeah, so... And there's such a relief. 50 Thai massages couldn't produce this relief. Because it's a relief from the relief and the stress thing. The relief stress dynamo. It's a relief from all that, yeah? It's not even in your bones. It's somewhere else. But, well, nice to be here with everyone. And you want to ask any questions?
Anybody want to raise their hand for questions? Geo. Hi, Geo.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yes.
Right. Oh, it just occurred to me when you say that the message is not for the little me, it's not for the mind, it's for the Buddha. The question that I have is, who is to be convinced? Who is going to lose the interest? I mean,
No one. There's just going to be a loss of interest in the who.
what's the role of the mind, of the thinking mind? Is there any role in being convinced
Yeah,
of anything?
it gets me to the store.
Sorry?
It gets me to the store.
It gets to?
It gets me to the store.
Oh,
Gets
right,
me to
right.
make a fallback. Yes.
Because the impression that I have is that the Buddha doesn't have to lose interest in anything. It cannot have interest or have not interest.
We're not
It's all,
saying
it's,
who to lose interest. We're saying there's a loss of interest. There's no one who's losing the interest.
all right, right, right.
Yes. See, this is the stubbornness of the mental logic. If there's a losing of something, there must be someone who's losing. It's not the case. There's just losing of something.
Oh, yeah, right, right.
Yes. There's just verbing. See, the mental logic, the only way it reacts to a verb is by a noun. It's always looking for a noun.
Mm.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah.
Lord Buddha supposedly said very clearly, he said, events happen, deeds are done. Okay? Events happen, deeds are done. Yeah. So when we believe, when there's a recognition of deeds are done, usually there's a belief that someone did it. Yeah. It was I did the deed or someone else did the deed. Yes. So he's going, events happen, deeds are done. There's no argument with that. So loss of interest, no argument with that. There's no individual doer thereof, but there is no individual doer thereof. So there
Yeah,
is no individual doer of the event or of the deed or of the loss of interest.
there never was a sheep there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Why there's no need to get rid of the sheep.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm.
When something happens, when all this is done, all the understanding and stuff like that, and there's let's say a free sample, you may come out of that free sample with a sense that it's always been this way. Like basically nothing has ever happened or will ever happen that can disturb this always everywhere happening. Yeah. I had it. That was a conviction that occurred and was noticed. But was I convinced? No. But there was a conviction concerning that statement for sure.
So, so when you say that you are seeing what you are not, that's a kind of a skillful means. It's a tool. It's not some final prescription.
No, it's just the
It's a
fact.
description.
What we're doing right now, it's unfortunately because of the language, maybe we say you are the seeing of what you're not. There's the seeing of what you're not, basically, all day.
Hmm.
What else are you seeing? Most your vision sees things, yes?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Things are what we're not. Yeah? So
yeah.
basically, people always say, if I only had a constant reminder, well, the negation of what you're not is the constant reminder. Yeah. See,
Hmm.
the body senses are seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. And what they're seeing, hearing, facing, touching is what we're not, things. Yeah. So in a weird way, it's exactly what people were hoping for right now. There's always a seeing of what we're not.
Yeah, but
The seeing of what we are.
I said I said that it's a skillful means because in the end it ends up that you are also that which you are not.
Oh,
Because
of course, but the point is, you don't make that leap to that end. There's a
hmm,
certain way it goes about where it can really establish. If
yeah,
you,
it goes around and ends up landing there without your volition, something
yeah,
like that.
let's say some people who think they're a body, then they hear this thing that they're not a body. They don't arrive. That's not a clarity because this being held as a body.
Hmm.
The idea that they're not a body is being held as a body. It doesn't go anywhere really. Yeah. So what happens is there's an admittance. All right, finally, all the shit I've been trying to avoid and transcend and hope isn't I can get out of. It just sort of lands, and then in its landing and in its allowance of being real, you see it's not. Yeah. I don't see most people would like to me there's a term a lot of people use, but and they mean it differently, but you can't spiritual bypass that in a way. Yeah? See, if there's the act of constantly affirming what you're not as being so, and you try to intellectually leap into and I'm not that, it doesn't work. I've watched it tons of times. Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this way, yes. We do a little, so just like in self-inquiry, you ask what you're not, ask what it's not. That which is asking who am I is not you, and that which usually reacts is not you. So there's a negation of both of them. Yes, that's
Right,
the beauty.
right, yeah.
And you feel, and you don't feel like no one came to the door, but that presence, because no one did come to the door. There was no time for it to arrive at the door. It never left. Yeah.
Right.
So people miss it once again. But when the two poles negate, there you are. That's what we are.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right there, you get a free sample. Or there's a free sample. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw it with recovery. This is how I saw it over time because since I was young, I see patterns. So particulars come and go, but I see patterns of years. So what happened is I came into recovery and I was whatever we call it but there was an act of denying a lot of shit. That's the only way I could seemingly survive a day at a time. I come into AA and all this stuff that I had been conveniently avoiding caught up to me. And so a lot of shit landed finally because I wasn't drinking and using and distracting everything all second. Yeah. And it landed. And there was that huge, humongous anxiety of being a complete fraud, thinking it would kill me or something else was going to kill me. Everything was going to kill me. And so therefore I never wanted it to land. But what I was really been in the act of, I was trying to make shit that I thought was so real, unreal, and therefore made them as real could be. So when I let them be real, they revealed that they weren't. Yeah. So I arrived somewhere, but I had to go through this one negation process. Yeah. I had to let things be exactly as they were, even though there was that anxiety, I'm going to get killed by this. And then I am a fraud. I am this. I am a Toyota. I'm gonna never leave here. I am this, and then therefore, and then it took me to and I'm not. I don't believe you can just jump to I'm not. I don't.
It's a double negation, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I believe the only, in a sense, the only real way I value is negation in this topic. Yeah.
But does not the thought has to sort of learn something? I don't know. Doesn't the thought has to come to the conclusion that it is worthless in a way? I don't
Oh,
know.
that comes way later. Something's already noticed, and then months later, maybe the action figure catches up to it.
Right.
It's a definitely, its observation is blind to the moment. Yeah. Yeah. So it may adapt to it months later, but it's not, yeah, its compliance is not necessary. Yeah.
Right. It may eventually calm down, cool down.
Well, yes, of course.
Eventually, yeah.
I feel that's part of traveling lighter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It has the ability to learn. It does. Yeah.
And it learns its own its own place. Maybe that no.
Well, it learns, it has a limit where it can claim almost everything, but some shit it just won't even try. So it'll just,
Yeah.
it can go pretty far, but then it gets caught with its pants down, really. And you realize, and then there's almost like a forced humility because it just can't, it just cannot, it can't present that it's the cause of this incredible thing that's being observed. Yeah, it's, yeah. It may take a while and it may be begrudgingly, but it arrives there. Like when I was doing shares, something was coming through and I was attending the meeting just like everyone else at the meeting. I was not giving the meeting, I was attending the meeting as the action figure. And this juice was coming through and all the stuff is there's nothing to get, but it still believed it was going to get something until years later, years ago. But it took a while to realize I'm not getting shit out of all this. And yet it still showed up at the meetings and shit like that. But it wasn't on board immediately. No, it was still thinking all this bullshit. It's like people in recovery, they'll share about all their riches and money don't mean anything, but they're not giving it away to most people. It doesn't mean anything, but they're not, passing out the bucks, so to speak. So, this is sort of, this thing can say something, but it's not all there yet. But you'll recognize when it's all there. You'll recognize when there's the hallelujah of complete defeat. Yeah. Or complete futility of.
Yeah, at least there is something to get from complete failure.
Totally. That's the whole pivot point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like the facts are already in. It's a failed system that we're relying on or relying on already. When there's denial of that, it seems to have no value. But the great value of a failed system is that it can show you it's a failed system. Yeah. So when you finally stop and recognize your own shit, you'll realize that's not your own shit. That thing that's trying to understand isn't you. It isn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the greatest understanding. The understanding is understanding has limitations. It doesn't take you to the promised land. You're already at the promised land.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the part that that thought has to learn somehow, that it is meaningless. Maybe isn't that the job of isn't that the lesson that the thinking process learns, that it is worthless?
We're participating in that tonight. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm hoping we're all participating in that tonight.
All right.
Exactly that. I used to see people, they come to the talks with a notebook and a pen, and then after about a week or two, they'd stop bringing the note and the pen, and then basically lots of questions, then there'd be no questions. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. the defenses are put down, and then the real value is the putting down of them. Yeah, and yeah, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Satsang has, there's a lot of juice in satsang. Maybe not this one, but in satsang
No,
generally.
there is. Yes,
And
yes, yes.
it can do exactly what you're saying. It can speed up a little bit of the dragging of one's feet, which is time. It can speed it up. So you just get to the inevitability quicker.
Yeah, I always imagine that there is some kind of transmission that is not a transmission, some kind of sharing. But now I am realizing, I am pragmatically feeling it.
Yes.
That satsangs has some a real meaning. It's really useful.
Yeah, I'm always feeling it. Everyone not saying I go to.
Yeah.
You get like a divine you get electrocuted divinely.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. I'm always surprised when people are amazed that it works out. I completely
Yeah.
have faith in it. I don't see, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you,
Thank you.
Gio.
Thank
The clarity of mind, yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
God it's your mind. Yes. Anyone else?
Yeah, Anu has her hand up.
Hey, Paul.
Anu.
Hey,
Hey, Anu.
hey, I have a couple of questions. You guys said in previous meetings that the I thought rises up. So, we do something and then the I thought rises up and claims it.
Yes.
And
Well, no, the I thought doesn't. There's a claiming of it, and then the I thought shows up. Yeah.
okay, is this an energetic thing? Because, but what I've been experiencing is that it's when I'm very self-absorbed, I almost feel that energy, that resistant energy kind of grows. Is it like an energetic thing or is it just like it's actually just,
It's a lot of things. But
okay.
those are like, yeah, those are like effects, but there's nothing really. Yes. But yeah.
Okay. The other thing is that you had said something in another meeting which has really struck home and really changed the quality of my life. And you were just talking about it a few minutes ago, is that, to live without defenses. I realized that most of my life I've been very defensive, self-protection mode. And so since I joined the Satsang group, firstly, I do feel all the positive energy and just the quality of my life and my anxiety level has just gone down just from being part of this group. But I was really struggling with something, and you were very kind enough to speak with me. I was really struggling and suffering with some mental projections and what I found was I was really scared and I just sat down and I was like, okay, just, do your worst, put down all the defenses and the armament. And I just sat with it and it was really bad for some time, but in the end, it was nothing.
Yeah.
It just evaporated. So it was such a relief that is unbelievable. Like, I just feel like a different person this week than even last week.
Great.
So
Yes.
I wanted to share that.
That invitation came that way. That way isn't the invitation. Yes?
I didn't understand what you said.
The invitation came that way you described. You became defenseless and you let it be as strong as it wanted to be. Yes?
Yeah.
But that was the invitation. That way it appeared isn't its only appearance. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. The invitation can be like the thief in the night. It can be a lot of ways. So don't, a lot of times people believe like something happened and then they want to keep trying to trigger that. Yeah. Why it happened wasn't because of itself. It was used by something prior to it. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you get caught with the packaging, you'll miss the deliveries. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yes?
realizing it's a beautiful way to live, though. Just, there's so much resistance that we have just to normal everyday thing. We don't realize how much distance we're putting between ourselves and how much energy is being expended in always like a slight resistance to everything, simply everything. And just being able to be, becoming aware of all the energy that's being expended, day and night. I never realized how much energy I spend and time I spend not wanting things to be the way they are. Or
Because you realize that because now it's not happening as much. That's when you always realize the problem, quote unquote, from the solution. So
yeah,
when you realize why there was never that much relief because you're in relief now. That's the joy of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there'll be more coming. More gets revealed for sure.
I also had another question is that what is the difference between looking for happiness and being a spiritual seeker, which, one is obviously pointless, and then looking for happiness, is that the same thing? Is that are we trying to avoid basically looking at ourselves or?
Well, the spiritual budget could get really expensive. You know what I mean? So looking for happiness may be like an ice cream tonight or something, not a merging with the universal oneness. Yeah, that may cost you a lot of money and time over the years, but
Smaller.
spirituality tends to be given a more noble, more important thing. And we used to joke at the Zen Bitch Slap about, people should tithe me 10% of the spiritual budget they saved from not going on 12 retreats and fucking all this shit for the year.
Love it.
I don't like happiness as a word much as a lot of me. I'm more contentment is a much more
Yeah.
stable sense for me. And obviously when you're content, you're not looking for much usually.
It's amazing. I was out walking this morning and I've noticed, hummingbirds come out of nowhere. I'm like, little baby deer will run across the road. I'm just like, where this has always been there. I just never noticed it. Or
There you go, honey. Yeah. This is the joy of traveling lighter.
yeah, I thank you.
Yeah. Traveling lighter, uh, you don't miss much, really. You're here. And yeah. That's one thing that creeps over the action figure after a while. It's fucking always here. The action figure always wants a vacation or a break. But basically, you're the onness, awake, asleep, it's always, yeah, completely, yeah, incessantly on, so to speak. But see, the head would never be able to take it, but you're not the head, thank God. Yes? Yeah. What's going to be delivered in our lives, the head would refuse to sign for it, really. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Because too many old ideas would come up. You would have an old idea that you don't deserve something, so you wouldn't sign for the delivery. Tons of this shit, it's all faith in what you're not, really. And I'm not saying it's your faith. I'm just saying it's faith in what you're not. We have a nice statement in recovery which is basically the better way is really trusting the infinite rather than finite self. Yeah. So basically the statement implies there's been a great trust in finite self already. And maybe that's the cause of where we're at right now. And the irritable restlessness and discontent. It could actually be caused by misdirected faith, so to speak. Yeah. Now, not knowing that we can't move the faith, that would be faith in what we're not. Yeah. So you can't, if you try to have faith in the infinite as from the finite self, that's just faith in the finite self. Yeah. Yes and no, it is. It's faith in the finite self. It's not faith in the infinite. So this is a recognition of the futility or the failure of the meaning you gave to what you're not. Yeah. The body hasn't failed. It's doing its job. You believing it was you and was going to be the, you were going to appear on the fifth hole of the golf course in heaven, that's done. Yeah. That's clearly, yeah. So by losing interest in self, there's a shift of faith. And basically all there is the infinite, really. There's no other options, really. So now faith in the infinite becomes the more dominant condition, and that's the basis of traveling lighter, really. Yeah. It's not, you don't produce the lightness, nor are you the one who's maintaining it. It's just a fact of what happens. Yeah. Faith put in something reliable produces certain effects that faith put in something that's not reliable cannot do. It cannot produce those effects because it's unreliable. Yeah, that's simple. Yeah. We have a statement in recovery, you're going to have a new employer, which also implies there was an old employer. And what does employ mean? It means to use, yes? So in other words, some juice is going to use you. It could be the old employer, which would be the finite self, or the new employer, which would be the infinite. Yeah. You'll judge the tree by the fruit. Just see what happens. Yeah. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see what works or doesn't work. Yeah. When you're in the system that doesn't work, it's going to deny that because it's like a death to it. Yeah. But when you get free from that system, there can be honest assessment of the system of self-centeredness. And you can see you don't kill it or fucking hate it. It's mechanical. Yeah. It's a myopic view that reinforces the myopic view. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. There's no one in there. No one's doing it. It's just a way of seeing. Yeah. And when you're in that way of seeing, seemingly, it doesn't say there's any other way of seeing, really. It will be in buying new glasses, but the eyes are the eyes are the eyes. Now we're questioning the eyes. We're not questioning the need for new glasses. Yeah. That's based on the eyes. If these are not your eyes, yeah, then maybe you don't need glasses. Yes. Maybe what you called your eyes were a pair of glasses. Now, seeing them as your eyes, you could only gouge them out. Now, seeing them as glasses, you can take them off. Yeah? Perhaps there's the better way. There you go. Self can't get out of self. It's one of the greatest spiritual statements of all time, coming out of crazy people in recovery. Self can't get out of self. Can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. You can't use light to find light. You can't use mind to seek mind. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. It's not personal. It's just factual. Yeah. So basically, being ourselves reality, yeah, we can't use ourselves to find reality. Why? Because being ourselves reality. Yeah. That's the rebuttal. Yeah. Being ourselves reality, you can't use reality to find reality. Yeah. That's the way it goes. See, this is what escapes us because we we have a fervent faith. It's not us, but there's a faith in what we're not. We actually believe we are it. Yeah. Therefore, you can't entertain having two its in one place. So this is us, and therefore, when all the turmoil and tribulations and the inability to face life successfully and all this shit happens, yeah, we only can move towards something as this. We can't seem to move away from this as something else, yes? We're always moving towards something as this, yeah? So we move towards God as this while we are God, yes? That's why it doesn't work, you see? We move towards Buddha through Buddhism. We believe we're going to hopefully acquire some of the traits we believe this historical person had demonstrated. And because we're not able to do it, we figure, wow, that would be great. So let me practice Buddhism to acquire some traits that were of the Buddha. But you are the Buddha, yes? You see? That's what's being missed. How do you arrive at? You do not arrive there by chanting "You're the Buddha" as a new. You just question a new, and when you see you're not a new, there's the Buddha. Yeah? You don't, the first way doesn't work. A new chanting "It's the Buddha" will reinforce the identification as a new. It will. That's what the head's going to use it for. So, how do you get around that? Yeah. Okay. You hear the message as what you are, and then you see what you're not. Hallelujah. The horse is in front of the cart. Things start making sense. Blue is blue, red is red. Not only do these talks sort of do something for you, when you read your old spiritual books, they enliven the books. Because now you get the message that was being said. Yeah? You were hearing it from anew. You start hearing it from what you are, and then the bells of that book ring out. They're living books like I Am That and writings of Ramana Maharshi. They're living books. They ring out, just like the big book of AA rings out. Yeah? I saw this sentence coming from the big book thousands of times. Had different meaning. Being convinced that self manifests in various ways what has defeated us. The self to me meant ego. Yeah? I missed it completely. Then I saw it one day differently. I saw self as a foreign agent. And I saw it's self that says it has an ego and loses an ego. It's the self that's there, both conditions. Losing an ego, there's me, the one who lost the ego. Having an ego, there's me, the one who has an ego. I'm not that me. That's the self. Hallelujah. Yeah. Being convinced that self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. I'm in the us camp in that sentence. I am not of the self camp. Yeah. So it says, all right, you're going to look at some of the manifestations of self in one's life. Resentment. Yeah. From that day on, I've never called a resentment mine. Never. Yeah. Never called the resentment mine. It's not mine. It's a manifestation of self in one's life. I'm not self. Yeah. Am I accountable for the results or the effects that resentment has? Yes. I'm accountable if my dog shits on the neighbor's lawn, but I'm not guilty for 30 years about that dog taking the shit on the neighbor's lawn. I didn't take the shit. Yeah. That's the point. So yes, what you're hearing here will illuminate a lot of shit you read before. It will, probably. Before, you would read a spiritual book in one way. It would be another call of arms, another way to fail in your perfective pursuit, another way of flagellating and whipping you for not doing enough and being enough. Or you read the same book from this view, and it's very disarming and reinforcing that you're already what you're looking for now. Now. An immediate relief, not produced or caused, but always available. Hallelujah. Yes? Same book, but the reader seemingly is different. Yes? Yes. It's not the book, it's the reader. Yes. Or the reading, really. There's no reader. The reading. Yeah? That's how everything is. Everything is. We are before everything. Yeah, as the Course in Miracles says, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. Wow. That's a pretty comprehensive sentence. It has all and everything in one sentence. You and I are giving everything all the meaning it has. You are the dreaming of this dreaming. Yes? Not as a new. A new is an object in the dreaming. It's the dreaming appearing as an object. Now the dreaming gets identified as the dreamt and now takes the dreaming to be super fucking real. Yeah? Yeah. How are you going to get relief from the dreaming when it's real? Yeah, question the dreamt. If the dreamt ain't real, you'll travel lighter through the dreaming. Yes? Yes. So, anyone else? Nice to see you, Anu. I'm happy you're having a great week. Fantastic.
Thanks, Anu. Yes, JP's been smiling and nodding his head, and he's had his hand up.
And yeah, laughing a lot. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I just wanted to say I so appreciate what you were sharing about, negation. And I mean, I spent a lot of time on my spiritual path, trying to get rid of, either the thief or the detective, and going backwards and forwards. I mean, I really didn't see for a very long time that it's two sides of the same thing.
Yeah.
And and what you were describing for me as it's like the truth about the lie somehow brings me back to the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth of the lie. And the thing is that when I'm looking at the truth of the lie, I still think it's the truth. It's what for me was kind of like what Anu was saying. It's like, I've been so defensive all my life. I'm trying to protect whatever it is I'm trying to protect inside of me, because I think I'm going to be very hurt, or I'm going to even die, it feels like, if I'm undefended, right? And that's the lie, and finally, when it, so-called I was brought to the place of being undefended and seeing the truth of what I thought was the truth, but really was the lie, somehow I was rocketed, and now that word means something very different to me, from the big book, rocketed into the fourth dimension of existence. And I wasn't rocketed because I did it. I wasn't rocketed because, I'd reached level 10 of whatever spiritual path I was on. It was like, it's like you're saying, it's like who I am, reality has always been there. I just, it just wasn't seen. And so there's, there's no effort. It's kind of a laugh. It's kind of, yeah, it's the big cosmic joke in a way. Also what I really appreciated was when you're talking about always on, it's like, I can see sometimes these days, especially last week, it's like JP, the action figure, just wants to check if who I am reality is really always on. And it's like the moment this body wakes up, it's like, is it on? And and it's on all day, and it's on all the time, and it's like there's a sense of there's a sense of disbelief. There's a sense of disbelief. Wow, it's always on. It's always here. And so yeah, and when when I'm resting, when I'm living and resting in who I am, reality, it's like you say, it's really traveling lighter. And and Mike posted resistance is futile and compliance is unnecessary. I just so relate to that. Not that the action figure stops resisting or complying, but it's something completely different.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for this message. I'm grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're very happy to see what's happening. Yeah. See, when in the head, it believes when that thing is always happening, none of the shit that's going on will be going on. But the fact is, the shit's going on, and that's always there. Yeah. See, this is an old idea that gets dismissed quickly. Yeah. It has all these conditions for what always is to be always is. Always is would cancel all this other shit. No, it doesn't. The shit happens, but you just get, I like the idea of, yeah, the real truth is the truth of the lie, for sure. Yes. That's all that's needed, really. There's no need to become the lion. There's a need to see you're not the sheep, really. Yeah, yeah. Based on the seemingly so, it's appearing to the lion that it's a sheep. Yeah, that has to be addressed, definitely. You can't, because talking to the lion and telling it it's the lion's not going to get through. It'll have that resonance, but it won't have the legs to crawl through time. The head will come up and then claim to be the one who heard it. Yes. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that robbery thousands of times. Now, it never can complete its mission without us believing it. Yeah, so the mechanicalness of it still occurs. It still says you already are a self, but the point is there's the five fingers are out of the glove, so to speak. Yeah. It's nice to see you, Jay. That's great.
Thanks, JP. James J.
James.
Yeah, hi, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Trying to
Yeah, I'm over here. This is my first time on your Zoom call. I did see you a couple of times live, which I enjoyed, but it's been a while. So I'm a little rusty on your thoughts. But you said you can't find reality by using reality. What do you use?
You don't use anything.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so me, the person, is sitting
There'll be
here.
a lot of using, but there won't be anyone using anything. That's the good news. Yeah.
There's me, the person, and then there's this also this thing that has an intellectual knowledge that's infinite, undefinable something. So I'm sitting here with that information. What do I do with it? Nothing.
Nothing. First of all, that's a sense of what non-duality negates, which is that duality, that sense of being this thing and then this infinite intellectual, as if they're other. Yeah, neither of them are true in a sense. Yeah, so do what you need, whatever you feel you need to do, you better do it, and then there'll be returns from that. Things will be revealed. Yeah. So a lot of people who come to an end of seeking sought a lot, so to speak. Yeah. That's how they arrived at the futility of looking, because they seem to have been looking. So, there's no way you lose here. You can do a lot of shit, and that shit's probably gonna fail in how you wanted it to work, and in that failure, there'll be value. Yeah. And hopefully you'll be left with your own devices and you'll see they're not your devices. Yeah. So, do whatever's going on. There's no rote, this isn't a path. So there's no rote step or whatever. There's just a sharing of information coded with some juice, hopefully, and that juice gets through. The information is not important. It's more of a carrier of something else, and there's an impression made, and that impression is going to seek expression. Yeah, and things will happen. Yeah, and you may be unaware of it for months, and then after a period of time you realize, wow, I haven't thought about liberation for months now. Yeah, or whatever, or enlightenment or awakening or shit like that. Hallelujah. Yeah. So something can it's already truly already completed. We're like Johnny and Jane come latelys, way down the pike. The shit get to become sort of knowable. Yeah. Yeah. So if you feel like you need to do something, do it. Yeah. If
Well,
I
when
don't
you,
feel like I need to do anything, doing something would be a sort of a disservice. Yeah. So I don't feel I need to do anything concerning this topic. So I don't. When I thought I needed to do something, I did. Yeah. And by doing something, it showed me the foibles of doing because of the emphasis of the doer. Yeah. So I got sort of caught in that dualistic bind, so to speak. And that was revealed. And therefore, that which I wanted to use to succeed failed. And I got value out of that. Yeah. And then I heard this message, and the message just matched an echo that was echoing already. Yeah. And then it allowed the echo to be more pronounced. Yeah. And yeah, it became, in time, it became like the last answer. It just, it put an end to looking for what can't be found and shit. Yeah. And I lost interest. I joke around, but if you took a sample of my blood to see if there was any spirituality in there, it would come up 0.000. There's fucking none. I have no interest in peak experiences and epiphanies or transcendence or reporting back that I disappeared for a couple weeks. I have no interest in it. Yeah, just live, have these Zooms, try to, avoid people calling me as best I can, calling some people. Yeah, meeting people where they're at, not where I'm at. Yeah, hopefully where I'm at is stable and will speak louder than whatever I say. Yeah, and just that's all we do. All I do. Yeah, I have my little pleasures, and I have a nice sense of gratitude. Yeah, that's a pretty high level for an action figure. Yeah, I have a working sense of surrender. That's a pretty high level for an action figure, I feel. Yeah. I understand that something has done for me what I couldn't do for myself quite a lot. That's pretty cool. And the action figure, in most cases, has a working word enough, Still a little obsessive over some things, but thank God there isn't any me. Yeah. And so there.
when you talk about double negation, I think I'm following you, but I'm not sure.
The double negation is, because this is duality, selfing appears two-sided, yes? So the typical example of that would be used the policeman and the thief. So let's say there's just you, seemingly. Then through some knowledge or some coming to some kind of recognition, you start recognizing some movements and some effects, and you start giving it a vague name as self. Yes? Yeah? So let's say in recovery, self is represented as the one that has defeated us. So now, when you were under its defeat, you had no idea what was going on. Now you're like 2 levels above a coconut. You're starting to see shit, and you see, and it's called self, let's say. Yeah. All right. So now that's the thief. That's the thief that robbed you of your time, got you in jail, things up, fucked your wife up, your, relationships, whatever. Yeah. Self. All right. But that which is now critiquing that self is an aspect of selfing. Yeah? That's appearing as the policeman. This is when perfection comes in. Yes? So some fucking knucklehead addicts, soon as the policeman takes over, they think they're into perfection. They work out 12 hours a day. They're fucking, they'll go to Tibet, fucking Peru in the same week, see the Tibetans, go to a shaman. They're going to go all for it. Yes? Yeah. So this is sort of the policeman now is running the show. So now they think they're getting out of self as self, though. You see? Yeah? Yeah. That's
Yeah,
sort of,
yeah.
that's the
Let-
example.
Let me put it in my words, and I think I'll understand it. So right now, I'm listening to you, the action figure, and I know that that's not the real me, but then I go, oh, I know what Paul's talking about, and then that's not me either. That's what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yes. The
And
one
it,
that
and
narrates the old narrator. Yeah, yeah.
and there's no point in ever saying that I got it, because that person saying I got it that's not me either.
Well, the thing is, no, it isn't. But, people say it, but it doesn't change anything, really. That I, it can preclude you from getting it, but it can't preclude you from being it. Yeah. See, the getting it and the not getting it, yes, but the being it, no. See, so when you think you're getting it, you're being it. When you think you're losing it, you're being it. That's the unescapable fact that seems to escape us as the action figure. Hold on. Let me cancel this. Yeah, you see? So yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I get this. Let me see if I get this right. So here I am, trying to get it. That's not me.
Right.
Then I say, oh, I got it, but that's not me. But either one is being it.
Underneath it, yes.
Yeah.
Underneath it, you are what you are. It's like the mantra of Popeye.
That's pretty
I
good.
am
It's like
that I am. I am.
it's like heads I win, tails you lose, Either way I win.
Well, you can't lose, yes.
Right.
The pressure's off, so to speak. Yeah. Isn't that a lovely relief?
Yes, it is.
Just
Yes,
look,
it is.
just if you've been around, let's say, just really look at the effect of the word awakening and enlightenment in most people who have heard those words. It hasn't been good. Yeah. It's brought more suffering than cessation of suffering. I mean the words, yeah. Most people would have been better off if they never heard the word awakening. They would have been. They probably would have been nicer to themselves and to others. They would have stopped and smelled the roses. They wouldn't be in this incredible pursuit to become awake. Yeah, this is what happens. There's no awakening is just the word. It's what's prior to it that gives it the meaning, like it says in the Course in Miracles. Yes? So when the head that's claiming to be you hears the word awakening, it uses it in a lot of different ways that you're not in awareness of. Yeah? So now it's punishing you for not being awake, as if it was something you should have done. You're just inherently awake. Everyone is. That's what we are. Awakeness, awareness. Yeah? But the way the head hears it is like you've missed the challenge, bro. And it's because you didn't do something or you did something that fucked it all up. So once again, the word awakening is used, and it's a big surface to get a huge reflection of what you're not. Yeah? Now awakening could be incredibly beautiful. It just matters what's before it. Yeah? So some people, no matter what you say, it's held as a call to arms. Yeah? It's a statement we have in recovery. It's a trip. It's a very, very, very important statement. It's actually probably one of the most important statements. It says, you've got to quit playing God. Yeah? It doesn't work. Okay? So let's say this head, the selfing, is actually the act of playing God. Yes? It tells you how the day's going to be, how you were, how you're going to be, how they are. Yes, it's pontificating constantly, assuming it knows shit that it has no knowledge of. All right? So there's that which is playing God, and it's the act of being identified as you. So it reads, you got to quit playing God. So it goes, all right, and it sets off on a journey to quit playing God, but it's playing God. So how can what playing God quit playing God? That would be more playing God, yes? That's it. That's the whole dilemma. Yeah? So this thing is, it's under assumption that maybe you were once awake or that you have the possibility of being awake, but it's not in the surrendered state of awakening is all there is. Yeah? And it's running the show. It's giving the narrative, and it's dictating the actions. And now you're set out on a course to seek to become awake, all the while using the awakeness to do that. That's it. That's the assumption of non-duality. If you don't believe that to be true, far out. Some of us know it's the Chinese thumb torture. Yes? Okay. Any movement just tightens the fucking thumb thing. So what are you going to do? I don't know. You'll find out. Yeah. Let the shit land. Let the spiritual subpoena be served. You'll be called to some court of light, hopefully, where all your seeming transgressions will be null and voided, and you'll be able to accept things as they are because they're not, really. And maybe the Urban Renewal Project of Paul will finally be canceled, and all that budgetary cash can go somewhere else to enrich its life and others' lives now. Yeah? Instead of trying to perfect that which cannot be perfected, because it's already perfect on one level. Yes? So what happened with this action figure, most spirituality I practice furthered the non-acceptance of Paul. It did. Yeah? When I heard, and I mean heard, the message of non-duality, it took me months to realize there was a change of atmosphere, and that atmosphere was acceptance for the action figure. Acceptance. Yeah? With all its blind spots, all its foibles, and the Urban Renewal Project was canceled. It had been canceled months before. Yeah? And it has never been reinvigorated, to tell you the truth. Yeah? And it's such a trippy event right now. Our house has gotten smaller. We have a puppy, yeah? The puppy is big, huge. We had a cat before. The cat had to run in the house. Now it has to stay in the bedroom. And we have a second little anteroom, and the cat litter is in that anteroom. My girlfriend's having an Italian Zoom class that she teaches, so I have to be in the anteroom so not so much noise gets out. And the cat's taking a shit right now, and the ammonia of the cat litter is filling up my nostrils. And there's the current event. Yeah. Where's the throne? Where's the fucking temple and the gongs? The cat's doing its landscaping, which will go on for 20 minutes. And you're probably wondering, what's that scratching? Is there a spirit trying to get out? No, it's a cat in the fucking litter box. Going, like this for 15 minutes. There you are. And yet, satsang goes on. Yeah, has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with the cat, has nothing to do with you. There you go. That's the great news. Yeah. So thanks. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, James. There's no other hands up.
And I don't want to break my cat's little heart by stopping it from its art project. Anyone else?
I'm muted. No other hands are raised.
Oh, fantastic.
Nothing in chat.
Hmm?
And nothing in chat. So.
Whew. You may think I'm transcending, it's just the ammonia. It's putting me in an altered state.
Open a window.
I can't. Oh, yeah. I don't want to move from the Zoom. I'm of service here. I can't take the time out. All right. Well, let's end the meeting. Let me say goodbye to everyone.
Okay, and let me say by in conjunction with even before enlightenment and awakening, happy is also one of those things about self not getting out of self. Because in Iceland, they even have a greeting where they can still use it: "Come happy and go happy," instead of "hi and bye." Because happy just means surfing what is happening. So everybody, go happy.
Hey, I wanted to say also, Saturday's meeting's not going to happen this Saturday because I have to do an event in recovery for somebody. So we're going to change the time, but I have to stay at that event. I can't be splitting right away. All right, so Saturday will not happen, but it will be Tuesday again, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday after that. All right? All right, so, yeah. But, if you guys wanted to meet at the web, the Zoom, use it.
Yeah, I'll open the room because people might show up anyway, not knowing.
I'll try to drop in when I'm at this.
Okay.
At this
Very good. And
right.
Jim, I'm not sure what he's asking. He says, what about next Saturday? Other than this Saturday, it's normal.
Yes.
Yeah, by the way, this would have been the one where you might have had it live, right? So the next one is not going to, one after that is not going to be live, right?
No, it's not going to be live. We have the
Okay.
kids are over. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let me say, Mike, thank you for all the service.
Oh, yeah, and listen to your voicemail, please.
All right. We got Mary. Oh, no, wait a minute. Kerry and Judith. There they are. Nice to see you guys.
Good to see you, Paul. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, you two. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. We got Terry. Nice to see you, Terry, from Maine. Yes? Nice to meet you, Terry. How did you find us?
Thank you, Paul. My friend JP.
Oh, good. Well, And he's still your friend now. That's good.
He is.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you, Paul. It was great.
All right, we got Mary G there.
Hi,
Mary G.
Paul. You should be a stand-up comic, a non-duality stand-up comic.
Oh,
You're so funny.
yeah. Well, you gotta laugh, eh?
You gotta laugh. Thanks.
You gotta laugh. Jesus. So yeah, it's good to see you, Mary. I don't think I've ever seen you standing up. That's pretty good. I'm gonna take that as a form of progress.
Yeah, I'm on my knees all the time, Paul.
All right, Kenneth. Nice to see you from Vancouver. Hope all is well. Yeah, good. Say hello to us, Kenneth. I haven't heard from you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm fine, Paul. Thank you so much for all the Zoom meetings.
Well, thank you, Kenneth, for your
Really
attention.
appreciate that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you too, Kenneth.
Thank
We're
you.
very happy to have met you. And
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
the donations too.
Yeah.
We got John Walter from Down Under. Yes. Nice to see you, John.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, can you, what's fair dinkum? Fair dinkum was one of my favorite sayings in Australia.
Yeah, fair income.
Fair
Yeah,
dinkum.
right? Fair income.
Can you explain what that means?
Fair income means for real.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair dinkum. Well, then you
For
can
real,
say
yeah.
about this message.
Yeah. It's fair income.
We're
Yeah.
gonna call it fair dinkum. We'll branch out of non-duality. We'll start a movement.
It could be the Aussie satellite version. The Zen bitch slap.
Fair dinkum.
Fair income.
Wow. I just saw a nice Australian film called Mystery Road. It's pretty good. Check it out. It was about an Aboriginal detective in a town in the outback, and crimes occur. It was pretty good. We got Alex, one of my favorite people. There she
Hey,
is.
Paul, what's the name of the movie?
It's called Mystery Road.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yes, I thought it was pretty good. It gave you a good, yeah, it was pretty good. Alex, nice to see you. All's well? Yeah? Yes, fantastic. JP, all right, my man. Yeah. Yeah. Nice to see that happening. Let's see, all right, oh, there's Gio from Brazil. Nice to see you, Gio. You always inject a very nice, clear activity. I like the dream gets more and more real. I like that one. Yeah. We got Robert from New Zealand. Nice to see you. We got Gabe. Gabe, thanks for your donation. And it's nice to see you, my friend.
Good.
Yeah,
Thanks,
all's
Paul.
well? Good. We got Linda. Linda, yes, always a pleasure, Linda. We got Clifford from one of my old haunts, Chiang Mai, Thailand. I spent a lot of time there. Anu. Anu is feeling anew. That's good. Yeah. We got Mary F. First time. Very nice to meet you, Mary.
Thank you, Paul.
That's not a
I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Hmm?
From Toronto, Canada.
Oh, Toronto. I go there. I probably see you one of these times.
Okay.
I used to go twice a year.
Right.
It'll be on Zen Bitch Slap whenever we do it again. I think I'm going on some trips in October, maybe back east. Yeah. to do some live stuff if all goes well, you know, from now. We got Zlatko, my main man. There he is.
Thanks.
Nice to see you, Z. And Brahmi. Brahmi is still in India. Yes? Getting ready to go to Maryland. Wow.
I am in the packing mode.
Oh, good, honey. Well,
Next Thursday I'll be in the air, so I won't be joining you guys.
well, we'll see you when you get here to Maryland.
I'll be there when I get there.
Yes, you'll be there when you get there. Yes. And there's Tommy. Nice to not see you, Tommy, but thank you. Hopefully I'll see that art sooner or later. And we appreciate everything. The website, we're hoping it's actually doing pretty good with the art and hopefully with writings and music. And we'll just keep hopefully expanding a platform for members to share stuff. Yeah. So we got let's see, iPad 3. She had her name for a while. She's back to iPad 3. She's that's all right.
Wow.
She's looking comfortable there. And we got
Oh.
Vlad. Vlad is one of the music contributors. Nice to see you, Vlad. If you're interested,
Thank you, Paul.
some of his music is on the website under music. Yeah, yeah. So nice to see you, Vlad.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Vlad, you know, these guys got in touch with me from Spain. They got in touch with me last year, and I forgot. And then the pandemic hit. And then I may be, you know, I'm going to Italy in August, September, and then I may do a couple-day thing in Spain. I'll let you know, or yeah.
August, September. Yep.
Yeah, in September probably, yeah. Yeah, beginning of September. All right, Vlad, I'll see you soon, I hope, live.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. We got James J. Nice, thank you for coming, James. Yeah, hope I see you again. We got Stefan on Having Never Left. Yes. We got Tanya. Tanya's, yes, a pleasure to see you, Tanya. Thank you for your share last week and for the weeks of your ascension into dog shit awareness. Yeah. It's good. We got Jim. Nice to see you, Jim. Over there. We got Miss Amelia. She just left. Oh, we got, oh, there she is. Nice to see you. We got Nick. Nick, my main man. He went undercover for a while. He hasn't sent me the report, but
it's coming. I'm working on it.
All right.
I was going to say, Paul, since you're busy Saturday, can I elect Mike Z to do the message?
Can you give the message? Yeah, yeah. That I
Can he be voluntold?
What?
Can we voluntel him to do it?
I don't know. Whatever you want. I won't be there. So, and just don't tell me about it. Yeah.
Oh no, I definitely won't.
We got, all right, Nick. See you soon. Come on over sometime.
Planning on it.
All right. We got Bernard. All right, Bernard. I think he's Austria. Very happy person. George from the Void, I feel. Susanna W., a great friend from Mill Valley. Let's see, that's about it, I think. Hey, thanks everyone. Thanks for, you know, just thanks. Thanks for the opportunity to share some time with you. And hopefully I'll see you soon, and yeah, adios. And the meeting room's open afterwards, so if you're interested in fellowship or talking, it'll still be open after we end the meeting, eh? Mike, yes? Yes, probably. All right, see you. See you guys.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody.